Hi everyone, my name is Megan Caitrin, and either welcome or welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be going over some laundry tips for while you're in a chronic illness flare. I have my laundry that I need to put away right now, so I'll be doing that while we go through some of these tips. So I personally have the main chronic illness that impacts my life is chronic migraine. So I have the joy and pleasure of having a migraine basically every single day. I'm at least somewhere in the migraine spectrum every day. But for me, I've recently been having more of a flare in that where I typically sit around like a 5 or a 6 on the pain scale for day to day. Recently, I've been chilling in the more 6 to 7, maybe 8 range. Um, and thankfully, that seems to be kind of improving back to my norm. But I think it definitely had me start to think more about the things that are just a part of my daily life that are really difficult for me to do when my health is acting up, which is what has led to this video. And I have some ideas for some other videos like cooking when you're in a chronic illness flare, etc. So if there's anything along those lines that you'd like some tips on, feel free to leave those down in the comments below and I'd be happy to help out. Um, but yeah, so I think, you know, I am the type of person with putting away my laundry that I will typically just kind of sort everything out into its piles and then put it away. So some of my more intimate things will be going behind the laundry basket over here. But otherwise, you might see some laundry just strewn around my bed, and it is what it is. One last thing. Um, these are some of the things that work for me and for my chronic illness. That doesn't mean that they're going to work for you and your chronic illness. I don't think any of these things are necessarily a like talk to your doctor, but know yourself, and take what works for you, what sounds like it could work for you, and feel free to just leave the rest. Okay, so tip number one is to do small amounts of laundry at a time. And so I think just with this, as difficult as it can be, um, trying to just do your laundry once a week so that you're always staying generally on top of it and it's an equal amount of work each week, I think can be a good way of going about it. I think obviously if my flares tend to last a couple of weeks at a time, if not longer. And so for me, it's not really an option to just wait for the flare to be over. But if you tend to have a flare and it's really only a couple days and then I'm better, like, again, take what works for you, leave the rest. But for me, I think doing as small of an amount of laundry as you can each time is good. Obviously, it's less environmentally friendly than having like an absolutely full load. But if, for example, I only wash one laundry basket worth of stuff at a time, that's a lot easier for me to stay on top of putting stuff away. Okay, so tip two is when you are putting away your laundry, just try and skip folding as much as possible. I recently, again, because I have been dealing with a bit of a flare, have not been folding my clothes. And so if you look in my drawer, there's like half the drawer that's the folded stuff from before the flare, and half the drawer that's just the stuff that's tossed in there, because realistically, it's a drawer. No one's going to see it except for me, and I forget that it looks like that most of the time. So it's really not that big of a deal. I think the other thing is I have in my closet um, little baskets that I use for my bras. And so I just throw the bras in there. I don't even worry about folding them or hanging them up or whatever. I don't think that this is one of the tips, but I think also generally finding a way to have as few clothes as possible needing to be hung up can also be helpful, because you can just toss them into a drawer and forget about it, instead of needing to take that extra effort to hang them up. Okay, the next tip, and you'll see me doing this right now, is to sit as much as possible when you are doing your laundry in every stage. So I frequently will, when I'm generally feeling better, will stand at the edge of the bed and just use the entire bed. Um, but because I haven't been feeling well recently, I have been sitting to fold my laundry. And I think it's best to always have something behind you that you can lean up against, um, so that you're not needing to use as much of your core muscles uh, to hold you up, that you can kind of take that, like, if it starts to feel too much, you can kind of take that more reclined position more easily to just take a little bit of a breather. Um, Tip number 4 is to ask for help, especially if there are things that are like steps of the laundry process that are particularly triggering for you. So, an example of this is putting my head below my heart is really bad. It makes me feel awful. Like I have to go sit down for a while after doing that. And so when my partner is around, I will ask him if he can help me with switching the laundry over from the washer to the dryer, since we have a like top load washer. And so that helps me out a lot, and that makes it so that I have a bit more energy to do the remaining steps of the laundry later. For you, it could be carrying the laundry basket is the difficult thing. And so, even just having someone help you carry it from the bedroom to your laundry room could be really helpful. Or the like carry, if you have a laundry room that's on a different floor from where you put away your clothes, like having someone help you carry it up the stairs. So I think just kind of getting creative about your situation and figuring out what specifically in that is difficult for you, and then asking for help in that area. Because realistically, like 9 times out of 10, the people around you, the people who, hopefully even more than 9 times out of 10, but the people who care about you and are in your life want to help. They just don't know how. And so just asking them can be really impactful. The one thing I will say though is, if you do ask for help, either be prepared when you're asking for that help to have it just be a conversation of like, this is your, to your partner, of like, I'm hoping that this will be your duty now. Duty is a bad word, but that you will take full responsibility of doing this part of the laundry now, as part of their contributions to the like family unit, um, or just needing to get used to asking every single time. I know that for me and my partner, I am stubborn. I am so stubborn. And so I want to try and do things on my own. And so when I'm feeling up for it, I will do the entire process alone, but I know that my partner is more than happy to help if I ever ask him to help out. But I do have to kind of get up that courage when I'm feeling bad to ask him. And so, different preferences, but just a quick little side tangent on that. So, tip number 5 is to rewear clothes if they are not dirty or smelly. Um, I think a couple caveats here. Even if it's not smelly, change your underwear and socks every single day. Depends on the person and the type of bra if you need to change your bra every day. But for me, as someone who sweats a lot, I need to change my bra every day. I also typically need to change my shirt every day, but like pants, I can go longer before I technically should change them. I think just with this, it kind of leans into that do smaller amounts of laundry at a time, so that it's like easier to tackle. This just helps you not have to do laundry as frequently. I think it's also easier to rewear your clothes if they're not dirty or smelly if you are showering more regularly. However, I know that this can also be difficult during a flare. Tip 6 is have enough clothes to last you as long as you can go without doing your laundry. So I know for me, and also for my partner, even though he doesn't have a chronic health condition, this means having significantly more underwear than like anything else. Because if you're re-wearing, let's say, a sweatshirt 3 times, 4 times before you wash it, and a pair of leggings twice before you wash it, but you have to change out your underwear every day, like you might be able to go 2 weeks without doing your laundry, but you end up needing to do it more frequently because you ran out of underwear. So just kind of making sure to the best of your ability. I know people's financial situations are different and all that jazz. But to the best of your ability, having enough clothes to last you as long as you can go without having to do your laundry. I think that basically speaks for itself. Tip number 7 is to wash and wear the same 7, 8 outfits every week, so that you can just keep them in the laundry basket and just like go searching through the laundry basket when you have run out of all your outfits. You wash it and you don't have to worry about that step of putting away clothes. Um, this doesn't work for me because I'm very sensitive to different temperatures, and so I need to be dressed very specifically for the weather. But again, just trying to give out some additional tips that might not specifically work for me, but could work for other people. Tip number 8 is think about if there's something else, some other area of your life that you could simplify, um, to have more energy for doing your laundry. So, for example, instead of doing home cooked meals, having some frozen meals that you just heat up, or getting your groceries delivered instead of going out grocery shopping. It could be that that little bit of energy that you, and I say little bit, for me, I still can't grocery shop because it's too much energy. But like that amount of energy that you might have used for grocery shopping, you can now transfer to doing your laundry. And again, depending on the person, that might not be enough. That might be more than enough. And tip number 9 is to separate your laundry by the specific wash instructions. As with all of these, depends on the person for if it's easier or not. But I find it significantly easier to use a little bit of energy every night when I'm taking off my clothes and putting on my pajamas to separate out the clothes into like 3 separate things. So I have, I guess, 4 total, but I have like sheets and towels, but I'm not usually needing to deal with that at the end of the day with like what I'm wearing, hopefully. Normal clothes that don't have any kind of special wash instructions, athletic clothes, because they need to be washed separately from cotton and need to be hung to dry. Hang dried? This is one that always, whatever. And then the business clothes that typically have cotton, and so I don't want to mix them with the athletic clothes, but I also need to hang a lot of those to dry as well. And so I find that to be significantly easier to just use a small amount of energy at the end of each day to do that separation instead of, okay, I finally like got up the courage to like do my laundry and now I have to separate it all. Also, I think that this makes it easier for other people to help you out, because it requires less oversight. You can just kind of be like, yeah, take this laundry basket and throw everything in there in on a delicate cycle. And then when it's done, don't move it into the dryer, go like hang it up to dry. Tip 10 is to have matching socks. I very clearly do not follow this tip, but a lot of times I kind of wish that I did. But I don't want to trash perfectly good socks, so here we are. But basically, have only one sock that you buy. Have all of them be in the exact same color, matching exactly, so that you can just kind of pair them up with whatever and call it a day. Or you don't even have to pair them up. You can just toss them in your sock drawer, and whenever you go and grab a pair of socks, you just grab two, and they're all the same. So that's something that I wish I had, but I do not currently have that. Tip 11 is if you are able to stand up for doing your laundry and not just be seated, or if you are in college, for example, and are still working with a twin size bed, and you don't have the room to be sitting on your bed while doing your laundry, keeping your laundry basket at chest height while you are sorting it or putting it away can be significantly easier so that you're not having to bend all the way down to the ground. And again, getting that head below heart dizziness, especially, that can happen. Tip number 12 is if you're washing sheets and towels, to have at least 2 full sets of the sheets and the towels so that you're not in any kind of time crunch for finishing your laundry. So that, for example, like when you have energy at the beginning of the day, you can use that energy to start the laundry and change your sheets, and then you're just done. Or you prioritize changing your sheets because you're not positive you'll have the energy to do that and your laundry, and then you can see where it's at. But then at least you have sheets to sleep on that night so that you're not having to take the energy from the next day to do that. Tip 13 is to set out your laundry basket the night before when you're going to need to do it, somewhere where it's in your way in the morning so that you can start out doing your laundry early in the day, so that if when it is done in the washing machine and you need to move it over to the dryer and you're just not feeling good, that's okay. You can take a break and put it off a little bit, but still be able to get all of your laundry done that day. Yeah, I think especially it can be helpful to start it early in the day. And I have a hard time remembering to start it early in the day. And so I'll just put my laundry basket kind of in the way so that I see it in the morning and I'm like, I should deal with that. Tip 14 is to use delicate mode on a washer instead of hand washing. I think a lot of us do this at this point, but in case you aren't, it works just as well. I, for example, I have some Lululemon leggings that I've had for 5, 6 years now, from when I worked at Lululemon, and I wear those leggings once a week. I wash them once a week, and I have always used Delicate Cycle and hang drying, and they've been fine. Like even the super sensitive Align ones have just now started pilling, but that's mostly because I gained weight, and so my thighs are rubbing together a lot more than they ever did before. So use delicate mode. Um, and kind of similarly, tip 15, if you have clothes that you technically should hang dry, honestly, if you're having a tough health day, tumble drying them, especially on low heat, it's going to be fine. They'll survive. And honestly, if they didn't, they were probably pretty low quality clothes to begin with that weren't going to last that long, even with you taking care of them perfectly. But just in general, for example, with Lululemon, I don't recommend putting them in the dryer, but like a handful of times, not that big of a deal. That being said, also, if you're having a hard time with doing laundry, maybe avoiding those clothes that need to be hang dried and just wearing clothes that can go in the washer and dryer as normal without any issues. That you might have better luck with that. You're done with that laundry basket. So, tip 16 is to fold and sort your laundry near where you need to put it away. So, I have my closet right next to me, my dresser right in front of me, and that's where all of my clothes go. And so, folding it on my bed is the easiest thing for me because of that. But, like, I know other people like to fold their clothes in their laundry room, but especially if you're going through a health flare, maybe to avoid the like up and down the stairs a bunch, doing it in your bedroom or wherever you keep your clothes might be an easier choice. Tip 17 is progress over perfection. Um, so, oh, I swear I need to write more notes. Okay, well, we're going to do tip 17 and then wrap back around to tip 1 because I realized what I actually meant to say with that one. So it's one of those days, apparently. Okay, so with tip 17, progress over perfection, any amount of progress that you can make with your laundry is better than anything. Kind of like I was saying with the not folding your laundry and just throwing it into the drawer. Is that perfect? No. Like, I would rather be actually folding my laundry and have my drawers look cute and be more organized. But it's in a place where I know what it is. And so it's not that big of a deal. And yeah, like if my health gets better, if I'm feeling better, I'm not going to keep doing things this way. But this is where I'm at right now. And that's okay. So, looping back to tip 1, when I said small amounts at a time, um, more of what at least Megan writing notes meant was uh, if you did your laundry is clean, have a clean laundry basket chilling in your room, you don't have to put away all of that in one go. You can just put away like 5 pieces of clothing, 1 piece of clothing, and then be like, okay, cool, like awesome, that works for me. I, for example, will sometimes, if I'm having a really hard time putting away my laundry, I'll sometimes just do every time I go to the bathroom, I have to put away 1 piece of laundry. And like that works for me most of the time. That's what I meant by that tip. I just forgot. As I kind of finish sorting this laundry, some fun life updates. Last week, I got a new tattoo. You can't really see it that well, but I'll try and insert a picture so you can get a better view. But it's the ears from my dog that passed away 2 years ago, I think. Um, and he was really important part of my life. Like to the point where I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get another dog after him. I hope to, but uh, he's definitely been a hard one to move on from. So I got that tattoo. It's healing pretty well. We have entered the peeling stage of the tattoo, which is always so nasty. Um, but that's okay. We are keeping it nice and moisturized because I have insanely dry skin. And yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else fun that I can update you guys on. I've started making macarons recently. Maybe at some point I can make a video about that if I can get any good at making them. I've been using a French meringue recipe for the macarons for the first two attempts, and the first attempt turned out surprisingly well. The second attempt turned out much worse. Still like edible and good, but not not correct. Um, so yeah, so I'm hoping later today to be able to do a uh try doing a Swiss meringue and see if I'm able to have better luck with that. Um, I also, though, got some root beer flavored extract, and so I'm going to try making some root beer float macarons. So it's going to be um, probably a like root beer flavored shell, and then the buttercream will be like half vanilla extract, half root beer extract to make sure that there's enough of that flavor in there. Um, yeah, I feel like that's all of the exciting stuff in my life. My life isn't too exciting right now because it's mostly just work. Um, yeah, that's basically it. Work and trying to survive. But yeah, I'm also trying to get back into driving again because I haven't been able to drive for the last like 2 years as my chronic migraine has gotten noticeably worse. Um, and so maybe at some point, if I'm able to get back to driving, I could make a video kind of talking about that. But yee, I'm going to put away this laundry and then we'll wrap up this video. I can't even tell if you can see my head. Oh well. So you're gonna get a quick glimpse into my closet. It is a mess right now because I am gathering a bunch of clothes to donate and just haven't gotten around to the donating part of it. So yeah, but that's gonna be a fun time. So I'm gonna set you up right here, I think, and then I have a whole pile of stuff that needs to get hung up and a couple bras that need to be put away. So actually, you're able to actually, yes, you are. Amazing. Okay, so I have this little drawer right here. I just put those bras right in there and call it a day. And I have like these are athletic bras, these are non-athletic bras, and this is where my period underwear goes. Okay, so I'm gonna just time lapse through me putting these away. Oh, one other quick, you're getting some bonus tips with this. I like to grab a whole stack of hangers and then bring them over to my bed, put a number of things on hangers, and then carry those back, so that I'm not having to do as much walking back and forth. For my t-shirts, I literally just stuff them all in here. This is what I sleep in. But I try and push them forward before I add new ones so that I'm cycling through them. So push them all forward. I have this big stack of t-shirts to add in. And we are just gonna stuff. And trust me, it does not look like they all fit, but they do technically all fit. And it is not an exact science, nor is it cute, but no one else typically sees this, so. All of my laundry is now put away. And yeah, I think the main takeaway from this video is, as someone with a chronic illness, flare or not, you only have so much energy. And I would argue this is true of people who don't have a chronic illness or disability, is you only have so much energy. And so you need to figure out what the best way is to divide up that energy between the things that you have to do and that you want to do. And unfortunately, laundry is just one of those things that, to some extent, you kind of have to do. And so thanks for joining me today in this journey to put away my own laundry, and in some tips to hopefully help you out if you're going through a flare up or just generally need help with managing energy around putting away and doing your laundry. Yeah, so if you have any tips that weren't mentioned today, feel free to leave those down in the comments below. And I bet everyone else who's watching this video would love to hear them. And yeah, that's it. I think I'm gonna go take a nap. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.